Hello there everybody, it's Divian here from Property Success Academy. I'm here in actually one of our rent-to-rent properties and I'm coming at you live. So let me get this up on my computer so I can see any comments and stuff that come in. Sometimes it's a bit difficult on just to look on the phone. So okay, let's just find this feed. Here we go, found myself. Okay, so it's a bit of a weird angle, but I'm going to talk from here anyway. So today I wanted to talk about something which has really made a difference to our business recently, and it can make a massive difference to yours, and it's something that is massively obvious yet is really overlooked, especially when you're starting out in property. So the title of this video is the most overlooked but most obvious component to success in property. And me and my business partner, we've been talking about this quite a bit recently, about how we can implement more of this to make sure that we make more money with less effort. And the thing is in property I mean, if you set things up right at the start, you don't have to put loads of effort in anyway, but who doesn't want to make more money with less effort? Or maybe you just make the same amount of money but with less effort. Regardless, for you to increase the amount of money that you make, you have to increase the effective hourly rate that you end up getting paid. So if you've just joined us, say hi in the chat box. I'd love to see who's on right now. Say hello and introduce yourself. And obviously click the subscribe button, because I do these videos about once a week at different times. If you subscribe to the live version, you'll get a notification when I go live, as I go live, and then you don't miss any. Which is really cool. So today we're going to talk about the most overlooked but most obvious component to success in property. And like I said, it's something that me and my business partner, we've been looking at and we've been talking about and we've been implementing more recently. And this component is really critical to success in property, regardless of which strategy you're using. Okay, so it doesn't matter which strategy you're using, whether you're flipping properties, you're doing single lets, multi-lets, you're doing lease options, whether you're doing title splits, it doesn't matter, because this component stays the same regardless of which strategy you use and which one is your preferred strategy. So if you just joined us, say hi in the chat box, let me know that you've just joined us. So, oh, sorry. I just flipped my camera over the wrong way around. So yeah, if you just joined us, like the video. Also subscribe to it, because I do regular videos like once a week. And if you click the subscribe to the live video, the next time it comes up, it'll come up in your notifications, and you know straight away that I'm doing a live video. So like I said, we're talking about the most overlooked but most obvious component to success in property. And I'm here right now in one of our rental properties. We're doing it here right now, and that component really is thinking long term. Now you might sit there, you might be thinking, well, duh, it's property, you got to think long term, equity and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you do have to think long term, but not everybody does. Not everybody thinks long term. Now, let me explain the impact that it can have to think long term, the difference that it has to think long term, the different decisions that you make to think long term. You see, when someone thinks short term, what they're really looking for is something that is a quick money maker, something that's going to make them a lot of money quickly. It's the £1 million idea. And the thing is, no millionaire becomes a millionaire because they came up with a £1 million idea. Millionaires become millionaires because they come up with an idea and they implement it, and then they do something else and do something else, and they just focus on the everyday tasks, but they think long term. Now, what difference does that make? Well, what we've been doing with our properties more recently is we've been thinking about how do we think longer term about them. Yes, a lot of them are rent-to-rent properties, they are short-term contracts, but how do we turn this medium term, really, because the contracts are 4 or 5 years, so that's medium term. How do we turn this inherently medium term business into a long-term business? And really, that's by proving the value that we add. It's about thinking about the long-term relationship, about starting out how we mean to go on. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying properties or whether you're doing flips or whether you're doing lease options or whether you're doing title splits or whatever other strategy you're using. Thinking long term enables you to make better decisions. And it might be as simple as thinking long term in terms of putting a better carpet in, doing a better job of doing up the property. Now, we're standing in a property here right now, and I'm here because we need to do this property up. We need to do something with it. We're halfway through the contract. It's not working as well as we want it to work, so we've got to do something different. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be refurbing this whole property, right, with the landlord. Now, you might think, well, you only got 2 years left on the contract. That sounds a bit stupid to me. Yeah, to the average person, that would be stupid. But we are working with this landlord, and by doing this, by showing the value that we add, we can turn what is inherently a short-term business or a medium-term business, because it's a 5-year contract, into a long-term business. We are going back to the landlord. We will sign a brand new contract. We'll extend the contract. We'll put some money into the property. We'll do the property up. But in all of that, we're adding value. We're adding long-term value, and we're looking at the long term. How do we continue to rent these rooms out? If you're using a different strategy of selling properties, how do we continue to sell properties, making it really easy for the buyer, really easy for the person who's renting the room to do this, to make the transaction of renting the room or the house really quick? Because one of the big challenges that I see property investors have, time and time again, the biggest challenges that they have is that they spend lots of time trying to get a little bit more money, or trying to rent rooms out, or sell their property. They spend a lot of time in that part of the process. And the reason they spend a lot of time in that part of the process is because they're not getting results. And a lot of us, and we used to do this, by the way, I'm not telling you this because it's just some idea that came into my head. We've got this experience. Rooms didn't used to rent out. When we first started, I didn't know anything. And over time, I gained knowledge, and I implemented it. I test things out and did things differently. And now we know the formula. We know the formula that just gets properties rented out. So we just copy the formula, and we're improving the formula. Look, if anybody ever tells you they know everything, it's a load of rubbish. Nobody ever knows everything. Just they may know a lot more than most people. And what we've learned through the 6 years I've been in business now, in property, is that there is a formula to this. There's a formula to getting rooms to rent out. There's a formula to making money. It doesn't matter which strategy you're using, there is a formula to it. And one critical component of every strategy and the formula to every strategy is thinking long term. You make much better decisions, you make more sound business decisions, and you have a longer term business. You see, getting more business on is one of the hardest things you could ever do. So why not think differently? Why not think, well, how do I make this a really long term solid business? And one of the big challenges in property, let's say when you're doing multi-lets, we specialize in multi-lets. That's all we do. We don't do single lets at all. Every single one of the properties that we've got is a multi-let property. Every single one we deal with. And our new business, which I am not yet ready to announce, if you're on my email list, you would have heard that I'm setting up a new business with my business partners. But when I'm ready, I'll announce it to you. But our new business has a link to multi-lets, and I'll explain that when we're ready to do so. But there is a focus on multi-lets. So whether you're doing single lets or multi-lets or flats, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter. But this concept still applies. Thinking long term. Just try it out. Go to your business and start making some long-term decisions. Think about your customers as clients instead of customers. Think about how to treat them well for the long term. Don't think about, well, how do I just make some money today? Think about long term. Even if you're struggling, some people out there, you're struggling, right? If you're struggling, switch your mindset to long term. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes for you to start thinking long term, to the amount of money you make, not just today, but you continue to make, and the reduction in the stress levels and the pressure you have to put yourself to make that money in the long term, and the opportunities that come about by thinking long term. So We started thinking long term. We're now implementing a lot more things that enable our business to be long term, and that's one of the things that allows us to reduce our void periods, reduce the number of rooms that come available, keep tenants for longer, keep tenants happier, keep landlords on board for longer. Because we do rent to rent. Rent to rent is where you got to work with the landlords, and keeping them on longer term is important as well, because we don't just want to go and do a deal with them today. We want to continue running that deal for as long as we can possibly run that. Whether that's 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, we want to continue that relationship. And just to put this into perspective, this is our mission, and this should be your mission as well, really, in life and in what you do. You should take pride in what you do. One of the things that really made us click is recently one of our landlords came round one of the property that he owns, and I wasn't there, my business partner was there, and he showed him around the property, and they were discussing the fact that, the kitchen's functional, but it ain't great. The bathroom's functional, but it ain't great. And we'd just like to make it really nice in every single house that we've got. Really nice. That people don't want to leave. Rooms get rented really quickly. People stay. It's just a really nice property. The type of thing that everybody would ever want to live in. Even if they couldn't afford to live in it, they want to be there. And so we were discussing, my business partner met him to discuss this with him, and he's a landlord who kind of comes from the point of view of, well, if it's functional, it's okay. And it's functional, there's nothing wrong with it, it works, it's not that, there's nothing wrong with it, it works, and that's where he comes from, that if it's functional, then it's fine. But we don't come from that point of view. We come from, we want to make it the best it can be, to get the best tenants we can get, to look after it the best that they can look after it, and to really make the property something amazing. Now, one thing that this landlord, when they walked into the property, one thing that we really noticed that made a big, big difference. This landlord said, "Wow." Now, he didn't expand on the wow, but we knew what he was talking about. This landlord is used to his properties after a year or two being in a crappy state, being in an absolute dump and having to refurb it and spend money on it. And he walked into this property and he was amazed at the fact that it was still in an amazing condition, in the same condition that he gave it to us. And we're actually just about to spend some money on it and make it into a better condition than what he gave it to us. And the reason behind that is we attract better tenants as a result. They keep it in a better state. We wow the landlord. The landlord wants to then sign another contract, and it makes our life easier. It's easier for us to continue doing the deals we've already got and continue having the tenants we've already got than to put resources into getting new deals and getting new tenants. Now, does that mean you don't grow your business? Of course it doesn't mean that. But it means you think long term about how you grow your business. So as soon as you switch up the way in which you're thinking to a long-term way of thinking, you will change the way in which you do business, and you will therefore change the amount of money that you make. And that's critical. You'll make so much more money so much quicker. It doesn't sound like you will, but you will, and you'll be happier. And who doesn't want that? Hey, who doesn't want that? So I just seen a couple of people join. Dan Travis, hey Dan, hope you're doing well. And Jishu, I cannot pronounce your surname. Seidu, maybe, probably, possibly, Jishu. So hi, hey, if you've just joined, I can't see anybody else's names. I know there's more people on here, but I'm still yet to figure out exactly how to see who's actually live on here. If they don't come up in the little chat box kind of thing. But hey, it is what it is, and I just want to make sure that people get this knowledge. So I want to know, what can you do to think long term about your business? What can you do? Put your comments in the comments below. What can you do to change the way in which you think about your property business, the long term, the longevity of your property business by thinking long term? Whether you own properties, whether you do single lets, multi lets, lease options, flips, whatever, doesn't matter. What component you can implement this regardless of what type of business you have, even outside of property. It doesn't have to be property. What can you do to start thinking long term about your property business or about your business? I want to know in the comments below. Comment, let me know what you can change and what you're going to change, because all these ideas, each individual idea is amazing and it will make a difference to your business. So that's me out. That's today's little nugget of information. I hope you enjoyed it. I will also put a link here to a free case study that we've put together, that I've put together, about how I make over £8,000 a year net profit from a property that I don't even own. If you go to that link, you can download the free case study, then you get a video and it explains exactly how I do it, and you can get started for very little money. So if you think that might be of interest, go and download it. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for any of it. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. So until the next time, click the subscribe button here to subscribe to my live feed videos when they do come up. And I'm doing one about once a week. And comment below. Let me know what you're going to change in your business for it to be long term. That's Vivian out. Take care.